And that's when I decided that chicken nuggets make for a good topping on pizza.
They do. That is true.
Technically, also descendants of dinosaurs. Also helps that there's dino nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Is that technically like... Is that like a bad thing? Is that like disrespectful to chickens and dinosaurs to make dino nuggets?
No.
We're making sure their legacy lives on.
Chickens already do that in general. Because, like, you look at a lot of creatures that have still existed somewhat from that time, and chickens just were like, yeah, we're going to stay evil.
Yeah, I think it's like the more underrated aspect of chickens is that they're still behaviorally dinosaurs, at least from what we know of dinosaurs.
I mean, they eat their own kin.
Yeah, they kill each other. They'll team up on a chicken and kill the other one. Like my mom has a coop and she's already on her like third set of chickens. And on the first set of chickens, they literally picked one of them and decided that's the one they wanted to bully. And they would peck at its feathers and rip its feathers out. And then, like, in the spots where its feathers were gone, you could just see more, like, little peck marks because they would just attack it and beat it. And, like...
They're freaking rude.
Yeah,
but they're delicious.
Yeah, and they don't care. And they even kind of sound like Jurassic Park raptors. Like, they're just wild. Anyways, it's been quite the month. We actually have like a bunch of stuff we could go over.
Yeah, we've seen a good amount this year.
Also, on the TV front, is Invincible fully over, or is it like the halfway season thing?
Season 3 is official. Is done.
So they didn't do the weird like half season break thing?
No, they because like a big part of this season, like a big frustration was the animation, because you can tell it looks a little undone. It's or not fully done.
I heard about that. Yeah.
So they, for this season at least, kind of rushed it out and made sure that it was out sooner and all like collectively without having to wait for a little break. And now they're trying to catch up and like make season 4 look good with still having like still meeting the deadline. So this was kind of like a reset season where they're trying to kind of like get back up on their feet and like make it a consistent thing.
Do they have a timetable for when they want to do season 4?
Rumors are saying early next year,
which isn't too bad.
So it's probably going to be about a year from now. I think it ended like 2 weeks ago,
right?
I think, or like a week ago.
Is the goal to not have the same issues with the animation?
Yeah, I mean, like the last episode, like the last 2 episodes of the season, the animation looked pretty good, like pretty damn good. You could definitely tell they like tried focusing more on the really important episodes of the season and making sure those looked good. But there was a couple episodes at the beginning that weren't as important that, just had a little bit more issues in animation every now and then. They're pretty small, like unless you have, in my opinion, someone sitting right next to your ear, like telling you the animation looks bad. It looks fine.
Okay.
But
I haven't seen it yet, so my brother said that Aaron Paul was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he really was, actually.
Okay, that's good to hear.
That's the other thing, is they cast like 3 or 4 big name actors for characters. Like Aaron Paul is in that season. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in the season. And then the guy that plays Mike Ehrmantraut, he's in the season.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah, Jonathan Banks. And then they also hired Doug Bradley, I think is his name. Guy that voices Pinhead.
Okay.
And so like that's the other thing is, in my opinion, the voice acting is way more important for an animated show. Like, obviously, animation, you want it to look good still, but like, for how the animation looks in Invincible, it's fine. Like, I'd rather have them like pay good actors because
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that in my opinion is like the biggest thing about the show is how the lines get delivered and like how the characters like are acting in certain scenes.
Yeah, but we also
Um,
got better animation for when it was worth it, which is fine.
yeah, that's the other thing is like, I mean, season 8 hadn't, or not season 8, episode 8, like the season finale hadn't. There was like moments where I was like, "Whoa, this animation actually looks really good." Like
Well,
you could
that's because
tell
they
that
also
they,
decided to put impact frames in the freaking animation.
yeah, they did impact frames, but there's also some better like just overarching shot like moments. Like obviously, I don't want to get into like spoiler territory, mostly just because Keaton also hasn't seen it and everything like that. But like the scene when Oliver's like flying over the water and everything like that, and you can see like the fight going on and everything from his point of view, like all of that stuff, like I think looked really good. So,
Where do you rank it of the 3 seasons?
um, I've seen a lot of people kind of talking about like saying it's the best season. Honestly, I still think season 1 is the best. I think season 3 is fairly close. So I think it either goes 1, 3, then 2. I could see some people making the argument 3, 1, 2, but I still think season 1 overall is the best, mostly because of the build up to Omni Man's betrayal and Mark
Yes.
finding out about it. And then those last 2 episodes just like finish off the season so strong in season 1, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I also thought that like the little funny bits, like the comedy bits, were better in season 1 than 2.
Yeah, season 2 is
Yes.
definitely, in my opinion, the weakest season. I think the villain feels a little bit boring. Um,
Right.
and like obviously there's some good moments in the season and everything like that, but yeah, I think overall season 1, you can definitely tell that. I think because of the fact that there wasn't as much of like a stress of getting it out and everything like that and delivering, like, it's just the first season, so they just got to make sure it's good enough for it to keep going. Like it kind of set the base for everything.
Yeah.
But I think season 3 is still really good. There were some good funny moments as well. Season 2 is definitely the weakest so far. But even, I mean, I've read the comics. Even in the comics, that kind of like time frame in the comics, those like couple issues, even those are a little bit more boring.
Well,
So
good for Aaron Paul. He's we were before recording, we were talking about John Bernthal. I think Aaron Paul's another one that it's like he probably could be used a lot more because he's actually really good.
yeah,
Of that entire 5 season Breaking Bad run plus his own movie, you could argue he was probably one of the best uh, acting performances in that whole thing.
yeah.
So
I think his character is also one of the best. Like Walt, you always
yeah,
can expect Walt to act exactly how Walt does, but Jesse, I think, is like he kind of changes a little bit here and there.
yeah.
As well,
There's layers that are really cool to
yeah,
pretty much everyone in that show, which is
yeah,
why it's so brilliant. But yeah, I think Aaron Paul should be in more stuff.
agreed.
Maybe he'll be put in the Odyssey because Nolan is putting everybody that exists in the Odyssey.
I mean,
We'll see.
I would not be opposed.
Have you guys seen the cast so far of the Odyssey?
No.
I think I did see a picture of someone in like the in like one of their costumes or something like that. But
Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron, John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, Ellen Page, Himesh Patel. Let's see, a couple other people I don't know. Mia Goth, and it doesn't even have it on here. Oh wait, yeah, we did say John Bernthal, but yeah, it's pretty much. And it's got the guy from Shogun, that series last year. I forget his name, but he's in it too.
yeah, I did see that picture. It was Matt Damon in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
costume.
So at this point, might as well do Aaron Paul, I guess. Yeah. And this might not be everybody. They're probably still getting people for it. Yeah.
Is that
wild.
Do we know, is that next year or?
Yeah, it's July of 26.
Oh, okay.
It's so far it's gotten mixed stuff. People, I don't think it'll be dead on arrival, but all the history nerds hate it already.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I've been hearing a couple of like early complaints.
Yeah. But lucky for Nolan, he's Nolan, so he will definitely it's still going to make unbelievable amounts of money.
Yeah.
And my guess is that it's going to maybe be a Braveheart scenario where it is not incredibly accurate in some regards, but they still write a really good movie. That would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And because it'll be really good, people will forgive it just like they did Braveheart. So,
yeah, I could see that.
I mean, you could also just see it as his adaptation of the story.
Yeah, which, I mean, we're seeing from the images, he's already taken some liberties with the the outfits, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And also, like, the history nerds are like the minority of the people who are going to be seeing it anyways.
True.
So, and also, like, I wonder if they'll ever release the reasons as to why, because I'm sure maybe there's like a practicality thing, or maybe it's just goofy and they didn't want it to look goofy. I don't know, but
yeah,
we'll see.
All right, so we have 4 things on here that we can go over, which is pretty wild. It's been a hectic month, and they're still working, man. So there's still more stuff. It's been a crazy month. You guys want to do Alto Nights first?
I was thinking let's do like Novocaine and
Minor
Mickey
ones?
17 first, and then we can talk about Altanites and Snow White.
All right. Let's do Novocaine because Mickey and Snow White are pretty similar.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's foreshadowing.
All right, CP, what did you think of Novocaine?
Well, I got to see it twice, but I thought the movie was fun, especially seeing it twice. I didn't not enjoy it the second time, so I felt that it was actually pretty good. Not like a fantastic movie, but for like a little action movie, this kind of not like John Wick, not as serious, just more fun. It was still pretty good.
Okay.
My only like super big thing was that it ended twice. You guys notice that? Yeah, it's like it's ending, it's a full end, and then the guy like hijacks the ambulance, and now we have a second ending. That was a little silly. So it probably could have been like 20 minutes shorter, but yeah, it's fun. I had a fun time.
Yeah, I also, part of me kind of wishes that they, like, I think it would have just been kind of fun if it was the simple, just girl gets kidnapped and, you know, guy needs to go save her and everything like that, but he can't feel pain. I understand they wanted to do a little, like, try and do something a little bit more with it, you know, in the sense of like the plot where she was in on it and everything like that.
Oh, right.
That one, it just kind of like, I don't know, like it was good, it was enjoyable. That like specific bit kind of like took me out of it because it makes it less believable when at the end they all just are like, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Fine.
That is a weird payoff where her like 180 character turn. It's like, actually, I don't want to live like this anymore. But I will say, to their credit, they did put her in jail at the end.
Yeah, I was like, okay, at least they didn't just like do like the classic thing of like, oh well, you helped an officer, so we'll just like let it slide. It's like, no, you still like because of you, a bank was robbed and people died. Like you deserve to get in trouble for it. So like, but yeah, I think like that and just like you said, Keaton, the like the two ending bit. That's like really like my only complaint with it.
What
It
do
was
you
still
guys
fun.
say that overall, like if someone was potentially wanting to see it, recommending it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a fun movie.
I was gonna say, where do you think we should put it on the list?
Um, I'd probably put it in like good soup, like and like bottom of good soup or so.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. What about you, Subi?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's now the second Jack Quaid movie in there, by the way. We got Companion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Oh, also, uh, while we're on Novocaine, I saw this post on X the other day that was a crazy take, in my opinion. Somebody put a thing that was like, Jack Quaid is already better than Dennis.
Uh, I would. That is a crazy take.
Yeah. And I clicked into it, everybody agreed. I was like, what is happening?
That I'd say a couple things with that. One, recency bias. Like Dennis Quaid hasn't been in a lot of stuff recently, and I think people forget how good he is in like a lot of his actual movies. But two, the other thing as well is you got to remember like it's X, people are retarded on there, and, like
Yes.
woke, and so they'll take anything that Dennis Quaid has said that's actually based and put that against him as far as his acting ability goes. Um,
I think deep down that was the case because Jack Quaid plays Jack Quaid in everything.
yeah, he plays Huey. He plays Huey in everything.
He's Huey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Huey in Companion, kind of. And then he's full on Huey in Novocaine.
Yeah, it's not very. A lot of his roles all like aren't very taxing on him. Like they don't ask a lot of him. It's
Yeah.
just be Huey from The Boys, and he's like, hey,
And here's the thing. I would like to see a director take Jack Quaid and seriously challenge him because I'm sure that somewhere in there, I just think he's getting typecast at the moment.
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it was a crazy take. Dennis is far better. Dennis is like a legitimately great actor.
Yeah,
We talked about it in one of the first episodes that in a normal world, Dennis would have been nominated for an Oscar last year. But
yeah, for Reagan.
yeah. So yeah, Novocaine. Not too bad. It was fun.
Yeah,
Should we meme it, Soupy? Should we meme Snow White?
You
Or save it?
gotta
let's
save
do.
it. You gotta.
Yeah, we got to do Mickey 17 first, especially because I'm trying to remember. I
Yeah.
remembered a bit from that movie, and I want to forget it. So the sooner we talk about it, the sooner I can try to wash it from my brain.
Right. I think there was a really good movie in there somewhere, and they just refused to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
There was so much cool stuff. We should start with the good stuff. Like, I think it is a really cool premise to be like, hey, what are the ethical and practical problems with printing duplicates? Like,
Yeah,
and that was like, what, maybe 15% of the movie?
yeah, give or take.
Yeah, because they hinted at it for a good minute with the one guy that became a serial killer because of it.
Yeah, they show the
Yeah.
origin of like the first people to be printed out, and they ended up legislating against it, and they made an exception for the space mission that be like, okay, you can print, but only to make them to use them as tests. Like you can't just sit and print people.
Do you know what I kind of really wanted from this movie? I think it would have been really cool to see like a like the whole like the beginning plot point where it's like, oh, like you know like not keep everything from the beginning, but the whole plot point of like he dies but not actually, and then like his 17 and 18 both exist at the same time. And
Yeah.
then after that, just make it a whole like political thing about like two sides like arguing about if is it ethical, like, and like how to handle going about this and everything like that.
Like Mickey 18 fighting for his right to exist.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Because
yeah.
you now have two people, even though they are the same, which at that point is just essentially a twin, existing at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to.
And the cool thing they did with that too is they made Mickey 18 an entirely different personality. So
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is playing these two different people that are like actually different, even though they're both Mickey. And it's funny because Mickey 18 is like a full-on anarchist.
Yeah. And Mickey 17's kind of like depressing and a little bit like more
Shy.
wimpy.
Yeah, he's silly and he sucks at stuff and
yeah. Yeah, because honestly, like I said, like there is, I think, a good potential for a movie in here. I did not obviously I think this just goes without saying. I did not care for Mark Ruffalo in this movie at all. Worst part of this movie. It is he tries to do this whole like Trump facade act thing almost. Like it feels like the director told him don't act like Trump, and like Mark Ruffalo tried his best to like act like Trump without acting like Trump almost.
yeah, he couldn't help it.
And
I think that the writing was meant to do that because this director does allegory all the time.
okay. I know that I saw somewhere where he said that he came out and said that he like after the I think it was after the election, he like said that Mark Ruffalo wasn't supposed to be like representative of Trump in this movie, but obviously like people are just gonna say whatever they can to not like
Yeah.
have daggers thrown at them.
Just like Nick Offerman wasn't supposed to be in Civil War. They just say that. They don't actually
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I did not like Mark Ruffalo. Terrible character. And just really bad acting as well. Like even if you wanted to make him act like Trump, like he wasn't acting like Trump. He was just acting like a mess. And then I didn't like the whole subplot of the like creatures on the planet just because it felt like they weren't really that important. And then all of a sudden they like
it was a colonialism allegory as well.
yeah, that's true.
It was so layered, like they just masked everything. Like that the really all the cool stuff we were talking about a minute ago was just caked over by TDS allegory, an anti-capitalism, pro-communism allegory, colonialism allegory. Like it's just crazy, and it pulls you out of the movie. At least it did for me.
Yeah, no, same.
It's a terrible ending.
Yeah, the ending was so bad.
This was another one too that like felt like it had like two random endings almost. But like they
Yeah.
were both during the ending. And you're like, what? Like that was a weird bit when like he like when he closes his eyes and thinks about that guy's like wife and Mark Ruffalo's character like coming back to life or whatever.
Oh yeah, he has like this weird bad dream or whatever.
Yeah.
That was wild, yeah.
And then like his like Mark Ruffalo's wife, like and her with her sauce, like always trying to like she just like puts something in a blender, blends it, and is like, "This is my sauce." Like, there's just weird things in this. I saw a lot of people saying that it was like a really funny movie. I never really thought the humor landed. The humor felt very weird and like off-putting almost.
Mark Ruffalo, I think he was meant to be like funny, but he just wasn't because he's a bad actor. So it's just
Yeah.
yeah. So I would probably put it like here, like on the low end of 4. But
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd probably put it like a 3.5. So like right, kind of
Like
in
here?
between. Yeah, maybe like I like personally for me, just because of the fact that like the good parts of the movie were just overcaked with bad
Yeah.
parts. Like if there was like a couple of bits where it was like, trying to be all political and everything like that, I think I could maybe put it in kind of meh, maybe even good soup, depending on how little there was in there. But
Yeah.
I think with the fact that this movie just felt like a giant, stupid political message almost, I think it's garbage for me.
I would say this movie had the potential to be like a 7 if they just straight adapted the book, like exactly adapted the book.
I'm not familiar with the book. Have you like read it or like
It's
looked
called
into it a little
Mickey
bit?
7, so they even changed the name,
Hmm.
but it focuses way more on the duplication side of it than the other like stuff they chucked in there.
Which is like the
Okay.
main plot of the movie.
It should be. Yeah. That's what the trailer sold it to you as.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess we could put it through this little litmus test. Would you rather watch Captain America 4 again or Mickey 17 again?
Do we know the runtime for both of these? That might.
They're both north of 2 hours. I know Captain America was like right around 2 hours. I can't remember the full length of
Oh,
time.
it's literally just straight 2 hours.
Okay. I was pretty sure that was the case.
All right. Mickey 17 is 2 hours 17 minutes. I'll be honest. Uh, I don't know.
That's why tier lists are fun. We could
I
just
think
put them.
maybe it's. I guess maybe Captain America.
I'd probably say Captain America. Maybe, yeah.
I'd rather
Probably,
not
yeah.
watch either again, but
Well,
Well,
obviously,
yeah. You can't make those an option.
so that's an option. Yeah, I'd choose
Yeah.
that.
Because there's at least Captain America, like I can shut my brain off and kind of enjoy. Mickey 17, you need to like try and pay attention because there's actually like context clues that they try to give you and like actual like big story chunks. Like I could just shut my brain off and kind of enjoy Captain America for like
I wouldn't be able to, but I wouldn't be
action.
able to. Yeah.
It's got action at least though, is like what I'm saying. Obviously you can't really enjoy it because the CGI is pretty mid and the
Yeah.
fights are kind of boring, but I don't know. They're both pretty bad. I would I'd actually rather just put a gun in my mouth. Can I do that instead?
Yeah. So yep, there's Mickey 17 kind of ruined by allegory, unfortunately. But there was something in there. There was a gem in there somewhere.
Real quick before we move on to Altanites and everything, Keita, did you see for one of the Minecraft trailers? Did you see that like the voiceover where it like tells you like like the inner world or like stuff like that?
I miss trailers that use that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like one in the Minecraft movie where the director invites you to come to the movie and shut your brain off.
Oh, okay. So they're saying the quiet part out loud then.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so mad because that guy made Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
I just didn't like Napoleon Dynamite, but that was me.
It's kind of like a cult classic almost, I feel like. Like there's like a lot of people that will like swear it's the best movie ever.
Yeah.
But
It's like I could probably watch Napoleon Dynamite once every other year.
yeah.
Like I'm probably in the mood for it once every other year. But man, that is one. If it weren't for this podcast, I would gladly not see the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
That's one of the like
I don't know.
it's my favorite game ever. So seeing my favorite game ever get absolutely obliterated by a dog water movie, it's gonna be kind of sad.
Every time I see clips of it, it just gets worse and worse. I keep getting a meme format where it's just people ranking the things that Jack Black is just randomly saying. Like, you know how he's like flint and steel, and then like
Yeah.
these are villagers, and like just all these like lines that he's saying in the movies that you're like, what is happening here? This is gonna be a dialogue mess of a
Yep.
movie.
Jason Momoa looks terrible.
Yeah.
Also, why is he in this?
I don't know.
That's fun. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
Jennifer Coolidge is gonna have sex with a villager.
Yep, that's gonna happen. So I like how it's a nitwit villager too in the trailer. Like the ones who literally can't be employed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say employed, like everybody doesn't enslave them in game.
Yeah. But I guess that kind of is the buff for nitwits because you can't enslave them either.
Well, is it a buff if they just get killed right after though? Realistically, I feel like that's actually a nerf to them. They just
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that one is only like 2 weeks out, so that that's coming up.
That'll be a good episode.
Right, yeah.
Yes, it will.
I think our first episode ever was watching the trailer.
I think that was part of the episode at least. We talked about the trailer for the Minecraft movie, and then
Yeah, that's gonna be a really neat full circle. Fun stuff. Yes, that's in like 2 weeks, so that'll be fun.
yep. Look forward to that episode, viewer.
Yep, our singular viewer. So we got the new Robert De Niro movie, Alto Nights. It's exactly what you would imagine it is. It is a mobster movie, but it's not just like a normal mobster movie. It's kind of the last mobster movie because it's the story about Frank Costello and how like the gangs and mobs and the mafia no longer ran anything. They kind of all got ended and caught by federal agents kind of all at the same time. Like the mafia still exists, but back in like the 50s, they quite literally ran everything. It was wild. So that's kind of like a quick plot synopsis. It's pretty much two best friends who grew up together. They end up becoming enemies. And yeah, and it unfolds like that. Like how you'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was this movie plays to a very specific audience. Like if you're a big Scorsese fan, if you're a big mobster movie fan, then this is your type of thing. I don't know how it's gonna go with a normie audience. I looked up what people were saying, and it's not super hot, but it's also like it's definitely catered to a specific group of movie fans.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, yeah, it's got a 69% from fans on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not too bad.
Yeah,
I was looking at Letterboxd, but that's not too bad.
I mean, Letterboxd probably has a little bit more of actual like fan takes.
It's weird. I have a weird relationship with that app. I think it's just as bad actually as the other ones, as I have learned over the years.
Yeah.
But I mean I think it's fine. I think it'll get forgotten really quick. Luckily it's not 3 hours. I appreciate it not being 3 hours.
True.
Because a lot of movies in this genre, like Goodfellas and The Godfather, Killers of the Flower Moon even, a lot of those are at 3 or north of 3. And this was what, 2:15, if I remember correctly?
I think it was just 2, like
maybe it was just 2.
hours.
Yeah, barely 2, I think.
And the big like selling point or like key of the movie is De Niro plays both of them, like both competing mob bosses. And through the course of the movie, I was feeling both opinions, like, all right, that's kind of cool. And then why? Like, why even do that?
Yeah, I get that.
Save on money, maybe?
Or they had to pay him double. That would suck.
I don't know.
I think it was more of just the fact that, like, like when you think about mob movies, I think De Niro's name usually pops up into people's heads. I mean, he's in a lot of the mob Italian movies
Yeah.
and everything like that. Um, and so I think the director saw an opportunity to do something kind of different and be like, oh, hey, what if Robert De Niro played both these mob bosses? So I think they were just trying to do something that was like
I don't think it
different
was
than it
bad
just. I don't know.
though.
No, there was a couple moments though where I could like I can't tell if it was makeup. I think it was, but there was like a
They
couple
do
moments.
for the other like De Niro, they do prosthetics. So like his nose is different and his cheeks are different.
Okay,
They
there's a
like they Colin Farrelled him like for Penguin.
yeah. There was just a couple moments where like you looked at it and it just kind of looked a little bit bad in my opinion, a little messy almost.
Because one
But
of the versions is just normal De Niro.
mhm.
And then the other one they like put all the stuff on him. I saw someone say they should have just had the other one be Joe Pesci.
I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to that.
Me neither. They're about the same age, so I think that would
I
have been great.
Yeah, and I think Joe Pesci could have actually done really well as playing the other version of De Niro, the one that had a little bit more like the prosthetics and everything like
Yes.
that. Because
Yes.
he was a little bit more on edge always,
Yeah, he was the
and
more
like
aggressive one, and
yeah, and so I
yeah.
think Joe Pesci actually would have been really interesting for that. Yeah, that would have been really cool actually.
It probably would have done better because just like everything is right now, it is bombing.
Yeah,
Everything is bombing, by the way. It's bad. Like nobody sees anything. It's wild.
It's just kind of sad, but
Yeah, and it's such a interesting phenomenon that movies that you want to succeed don't, and then movies you don't want to succeed do. It's it's kind of unfortunate. And also word of mouth is super an underrated vessel that they don't talk enough about
yeah,
because they can like the super franchisey kind of hacky movies like Marvel, or if it's under a big IP like Barbie was, stuff like that, stuff that's or the Jurassic stuff. You're guaranteed to get a lot of people that first weekend just because of the name. So that's what they're kind of banking on. But they're having a really hard time getting people into stuff that's not as well known or even a brand new IP. And if you don't have enough people that first time, even if the word of mouth is good, it might not be enough to like actually profit. So you remember Oppenheimer?
Mhm.
It did both. That's one of the reasons it was so good. It's a 3-hour biopic. There is no reason it should make $900 million. And it made $900 million because people saw it twice and people told everybody about it. So it had excellent word of mouth, and every weekend it had a bunch of people.
which is also funny because it came out the same time as Barbie.
Yes. Same exact time.
Because at that point they were competing.
And there's probably like a lot of reasons for this. I think they need to super slash budgets because then it's way easier to make something a success if it doesn't cost $1 billion to make in the first place. Then it's like, oh, you know, over the course of its run in the theaters, it got like a total of 200-300. That would still be a success because you only spent like 10 or 15. But now every movie costs, they spend like 100-200 million to make. It's crazy.
I don't think we'll get an instance like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
except
that
for
was a
horrors.
$20,000 budget.
Yes. And
And
it
it
made like what, 5 million?
I think it made more than that, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was crazy. That yeah, and that's why horrors do so well. Like if you're a Hollywood studio and your entire goal is to make money, which some of them need that, I would only hire horror writers and horror directors because that is a money printing machine. It costs next to nothing to make, and there's enough of a horror fan base out there that you're gonna profit.
It made $7.7 million.
Yeah. On like a under $100,000 budget.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And so if the other genres and other filmmakers wanted to, and studios wanted to get a similar effect, then you can't keep spending that type of money to make stuff. But they do anyways. And the other problem with all this too is it encourages the studios to keep making super like hacky and bad stuff and extending big franchises. Like just look at the current state of Marvel. They keep pumping them out because they're trying to get something and they don't care if it sucks. But maybe they'll learn their lesson, because didn't Captain America, it was Captain America 4, I read recently, was the 31st highest grossing movie of Marvel. Which is
Really?
not good. Yeah, it was number 31 out of all of them.
Damn.
So it was down there pretty low.
It's not a Captain America movie, so there's your reasoning.
That's probably why, yeah. And it was reshot, so the budget is quite high, even though they try to hide it. So I, for one, liked Alto Nights, but I'm also like, that is a genre I'm interested in. I have a bunch of gangster movies. Also the score. We didn't talk about that, but the score is like surprisingly good.
Yeah.
That I can agree with.
Like I kind of want to just I might save it on Spotify just so I can listen to it as like ambiance, because it is pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it's good soup, personally.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Well, Soupy, we saw your favorite movie the other day.
No. That doesn't even begin to describe it.
It's also Brian's favorite movie. It
No
might even be the best movie of all time.
Yep, put it in the tier it deserves to go in. Soup. Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
What are you talking about? You need to flip that screen real quick.
Yeah.
No, that would put Argyle at the top of our list. We don't do that. That's blasphemy here.
Well, compared to what this movie was, I would rather watch Argyle. So
Really?
Yeah. Yep. So we're getting into the Snow White review.
Is this gonna be Argyle 2.0, where now we just shit on this every time instead of Argyle?
One, acting sucked on everybody's part in the entire movie.
I have heard that.
Second, we get some of the weirdest looking CGI'd dwarfs in existence.
The dwarves look like Polar Express.
They look like a pop figure.
Yeah, kinda.
Tried to turn into an animated series. Like, no.
Yeah, and then you have a group of bandits that look just as bad as the dwarves do, except they're not CGI.
They look like the gay crew. The bandits don't look like bandits of any sort.
You know, the bandits look like Discord mods and Reddit users.
Yep.
All of them.
Not only that, they act like it.
Yes, it's crazy. It's like they just found people who use Reddit and pulled them off the street and was like, all right, you're in movie now. It's wild. I don't know where they cast those people, especially the tall one. You remember that one, Subi?
Yeah.
In the movie, there's like
that, they had a dwarf.
Yeah,
an actual dwarf.
They hired the one actual midget, and they didn't let him be a dwarf. They had him be one of the bandits. It's like, what are we doing?
He's the master crossbowman. Don't forget that.
So, to start, I mean, they didn't even remake the original. Like, we need to make that abundantly clear. They changed the story completely. There was like a couple things here and there that was like, oh, that's similar to actual Snow White. But the setup of the character, completely different of Snow White. Like her childhood and upbringing and such. The love interest is not the prince that she prays for in the original. It's one of these it's the leader of the bandits, which a group that's not in the original. The entire third act of the movie and how it ends is completely different. The queen and what happens to her is completely different. And Dopey, they completely character assassinate Dopey. They botch his character entirely. He was the comic relief character in the original because he's retarded. That's the whole point of Dopey. In this one, they're like, oh no, he's just shy. It's so bad. I'm trying to think. Soupy, was there anything in this movie that you're like, I really like that a lot?
Hmm.
The credits when you get to go home finally?
That might be it, but
Yeah, I couldn't even rack my brain. And then,
like, they didn't even try and make the gemstones or anything that the dwarfs mine look halfway decent.
no.
They look like those little plastic fake gems that you can go pick up at a store.
Yeah.
They come in an assortment of colors.
Well, I think it's CGI. I think most of this movie is CGI.
That's one thing I don't understand about how Disney, like, how is it that every new Disney movie just feels lifeless? Like, even just like from the actual screen, like the color just seems gone all the time.
Yeah, there's some color, but most of it's kind of gray, yeah. Then again, the original movie, like, it's pretty dark too. It's like a pretty creepy forest and such, but this had a very similar issue to Mickey 17, and I actually think it's worse in this than Mickey 17 because this movie is marketed toward kids.
Mhm.
But this movie, I am unfortunately have to report, is a Marxist call to arms, like an actual communist allegory. Remember how this movie opens, Soupy?
Everybody's all happy. Everybody's got equal sharing. Everybody gets pie.
Yep. The movie opens with the government harvesting all the apples from the populace to then redistribute them via pie. It's like, are we actually doing this? And then they kind of, so they open the movie with that, right? And you remember in the original Snow White, Snow White is talking about and at one point even praying for her chance to meet the prince, which is a pretty good message. And people say it's dated. I don't think it's dated at all. All Rachel Zegler wants to do is run a communist utopia. In the movie, I think she said wants to be the leader she was meant to be. It's crazy. Yep. So yeah, they open the movie with communism, and then they tie back to it at the very end. So she shows back up at the city. Nobody has seen her for years, but all of a sudden they're down to do a violent revolt against the government. The entire town shows up behind her
off of seeing a red hood.
Yep. They're like, oh, I guess
we're doing. Can't even see her face.
Yep. And there's like some guards who have been hired by the evil queen, and in order to unbrainwash them, you want to know how she unbrainwashes the guards? She reminds them of their contribution to communism. She literally looks at one of them and is like, Paul, remember your cherry fields and how the entire city would come and pick from your cherry fields? And then she turns around and she's like, and you, sir, remember your bakery where even when people didn't have money, you would give your goods to people without money? I was like, what is it? They tie it back at the end. So after the guards are like, you know what? Yes, I remember communism. Then the witch or the queen, the evil queen, turns around, runs upstairs, punches the mirror, and the mirror kills her. So spoilers, but
that's a peak death right there, you know?
Yeah. Where in the original, the dwarves, they think that Snow White is like fully dead. They don't realize that she's like just in the trance. And from that alone, they grab all of their mining gear and chase down and kill the witch. So it's like, it's a way better and way different in the original. And I was thinking, it would be a really funny thing is if they killed the witch the same way they do in the original Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Have you guys ever read those?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think I have, but I remember people talking about them at one point.
It's like the Brothers Grimm fairy tales are what the Disney princesses are based off of.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they're like super messed up?
Yeah.
Like in Cinderella, the stepsisters, in order to fit into
she
the
cuts
thing,
her heel off or
they
whatever.
cut their heels. Yeah. You should read the Snow White one. The dwarves capture the queen. They then, because they're pretty handy, so they weld metal shoes for her. They weld metal shoes. They then heat up the metal shoes so they're super hot. They then make the queen wear the scorching hot metal shoes and have her dance until she dies of exhaustion.
That would have been a lot better.
I was like, it's kind of a weird aside, but somebody should make movies of the Brothers Grimm version of these fairy tales. Like the OG. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
I would say of all of the live action adaptations, which, again, a bad precedent. We need to stop this, trying to re-profit off an IP by making a live action version of something that's initially animated. I would say this is the worst purely because, from what I recall, I've only seen the other ones maybe once, and I haven't even seen all of them. I don't think all of them fully changed the story. Like, I remember the Cinderella one and the Beauty and the Beast one. They didn't fully just change the story entirely. So this was a surprise to me when they did that.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head because I actually don't even think I've seen a lot of the live action Disney remakes because I just don't like the idea, the concept at all.
Yeah, it's
But
it. And then they're doing Lilo and Stitch this year.
It just doesn't help that you also have Rachel that's playing Snow White, the main chick, and the whole time she's just making you feel like she's this strong, independent woman. Is the whole message that she's basically giving.
And the original, she's a perfectly capable person. She's just not a communist. Rachel is actually attempting to be a communist leader. One key difference I noted when, in the original, she is running away, is in the woods, and she comes upon the dwarf's house. It's empty because they're all at work, and she's like, wow, this place is a mess. And then she cleans the entire thing, and then they get back. They're like, why is our house clean? And that's how they suspect that someone was there. In this one, she doesn't do that. She goes and sleeps in their bed, waits for them to get home. They get home, and then she forces all of them to clean it by assigning them different tasks. And there's a song. They do a song too. But
yep,
that was pretty wild. But yeah, the bandits were nightmare fuel. The dwarves are nightmare fuel. And let's see. Argyle came out around February of last year. And the entirety of last year, I don't think we ever put anything in that tier.
No, I think everything was at least in garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's a milestone for the pod. The very first thing to ever go in the Argyle tier. So wild stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure Disney would love to hear that as a review. Yeah, congratulations, guys. You've made a movie that now competes with Argyle as the worst thing we've ever seen.
And we're not even in the fringe minority. I was looking everywhere. Everywhere is putting it super low.
I think I've only seen one place put it high.
Yeah, there's for every movie there's shills, but yeah.
Yeah, I think IGN has gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yep. IGN is the single worst ranking thing ever.
Yeah, they gave the season 3 finale of Invincible 4, I think, out of 10. All
Yeah.
because they said that the villain was someone that we hadn't known about yet or hadn't met yet when they had been bringing it up the entire season.
They also gave Dragon Age Veilguard a 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the game. That's the game where it's just like super woke.
It's
pronouns.
the EA RPG that came out
Oh yeah.
a few months ago.
You don't need to say any more than just EA RPG. All that together just sounds.
Yeah. It was
horrendous.
terrible. It got memed pretty good. So yeah, IGN is wild. I think they gave Snow White like a 7 or something like that. But
yeah, but don't listen to them.
They, I think, knew about what was going to happen with this too, because they scaled back the marketing and the premiere so hard.
Well, it's because also freaking Rachel was digging herself a grave
Yes.
along with Disney anytime they put her up in front of people to promote the movie.
Do you guys think this will be the last time she's ever a lead actress?
Probably not the last time, but she's definitely like fucked up a lot of her shots. Like people won't want to. I think a lot of people won't want to hire her because of how poorly she is. But like the thing is, I think Drinker and like Mahler and all them were talking about this in open bar. Because she's not like she wasn't like a child or anything like that. She just got pulled for that like West Side Story movie that they did a couple years ago.
She was a TikToker.
Yeah, she was a TikToker, got pulled for West Side Story, and now she's just getting cast in all these other roles and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so she's not media trained. She has no idea what she's doing when it actually comes to like talking to the media, and it bit her in the ass now. Like she's suffering the consequences.
Which, unfortunately for her, like, now that we just see who she really is, it's like, well, I mean, you kind of did this to yourself. Yeah. And also, like, at the end of the day, she has her own social media, so she's gonna do whatever. I think, yeah, she'll probably either just be kind of like a smaller role and stuff going forward, or she'll just go to Broadway, be a theater actress.
Yeah, I can see
because she's a singer. At the end of the day, that's kind of her thing.
Mm-hmm.
We will follow very closely the career of Rachel Zegler. I'm sure.
Yep.
So I'd put it on the mid end of like 0.5 to like, I don't know, whatever is it in that 0 to 0.9 area of the 1 to 10. And
yeah,
let's see, we're at the end of March. So far, nothing in the 9-10.
Yep.
So we will wait. And we also put shows on here. Daredevil still has half a season to go, but because there's already a full half of it out, I can already say that it's not going to be in there. So I guess we'll hold out. Maybe something will be in there. I'm sure.
Who knows? Maybe Minecraft will surprise us.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, it might be so bad it's good.
Like a Madam Web? What are the odds that it's a Madam Web scenario?
It will be, but it's not going to be good. It's just we're just going to be able to laugh at how horrifically bad it is. Like, it's like
he punches a creeper and it gets sad and blows up. Like, what? No.
Yeah.
It's going to be, because you guys got to remember, we did our 2024 review like episode,
right?
And all of us were like, worst movies, Madam Web, Argyle. Like, I can see it right now. Minecraft, Snow White, 2025. Like that.
I don't think we put Madam Web. I think it was Joker.
We put Joker. Joker was most disappointing for everybody.
Oh, that's right.
So I remember we all specifically said like we were debating about putting Joker in the worst category, but we both were like, ultimately it is the most disappointing because of the fact that it's a sequel of a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Soupy. Here is the hard question. say you're sitting down to watch a movie tonight, okay? Your choices are Snow White 2025 or Argyle.
I'm watching Argyle.
I'm going to be honest. I'm watching Argyle.
I knew you guys were both going to say Argyle because that's at least like we all at least laugh at that movie. I think there's nothing funny about Snow White except for the fact that it's actually no redeeming qualities at all.
And I honestly am just sad for the children because I hate the whole excuse that's like, well, it's for kids, and they use that as like an excuse for something that's bad. It's like, no, kids should get good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we got good stuff. Like, I would still watch How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Kung Fu Panda.
Or Kung Fu Panda, yeah. They shouldn't do this. Like, you shouldn't do allegories for kids stuff. Like, if you're going to throw it in something like Mickey 17, a movie that's for adults, it's like, okay, it's still cheap, it's still annoying, and it pulls you out of it, but at least, you know, it's not going to potentially affect how kids actually think or perceive stuff. So, this whole, like, ode to socialism and redistribution of resources, it's crazy that they put it in there, and it's sad. It's really sad. But and I can already see it. If anyone tries to twist it and say it's not communism, they're simply trying to teach kids about sharing. The main caveat in this is that I don't have a problem with telling kids to share. Okay? It's specifically saying in the movie it is government enforced sharing. That's why it's communism. Like, her parents, before the evil queen takes over, they literally facilitate the whole thing, and Rachel Zegler wants to get back in power so she can do the same. It has nothing to do with like, oh, people are nice and they share. It's government enforced. Like, they explicitly point that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. Kind of a bleak episode.
I mean, unfortunately, Hollywood's not giving us the best stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got, you know,
spring is slow.
Yeah.
But go watch Novocaine. It could have been worse. Watch it on
yeah.
Watch it on a Tuesday. Yeah.
Go enjoy some fun action. There's like some good jokes in there, like some good comedy bits.
Yeah.
You know?
It's silly and it knows what it is. It doesn't try to convince you that it's like this hardcore serious action piece. And I don't think I ever black bag review in the last episode. Did I do
I don't think you did.
No.
Well, okay. If it's still in theaters, it might be. It came out this month. Big recommend. I guess if I were to have I thought that I did that in the last episode, maybe I didn't. Big recommend is Black Bag. Go see that. It's actually a movie made for adults. So, at least there's that. And Novocaine.
Yep.
Well.
Or just go watch Paddington in Peru.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I wish we could review that on here, but Soupy won't let us.
I'm not gonna go watch Paddington.
Fake fucking fan. What a fake fan.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I'll go watch Paddington. We'll see. And chicken nuggets belong on pizza.
Pineapple does not, though.
Yeah, pineapple doesn't.
Okay, what would you pair with chicken nugget? Like, if you're making a chicken nugget pizza, how are you assembling this to best complement the chicken nuggets?
You could probably stack them on top of pepperoni.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'd probably be pretty good.
Maybe a white sauce instead of marinara?
I think white sauce. Yeah, you do white sauce, you do chicken, and then I think, honestly, here's what I think you do. You do onions, and then you put buffalo sauce on top of it. That's probably the best pairing.
So chicken nugget, onion, buffalo sauce, and then for the main sauce,
last
white
made
sauce.
Onion and barbecue sauce.
No, not barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce,
or buffalo sauce. Either one, still.
Eh.
Yeah, that could be good. Just a buffalo chicken pizza, except it's
just
chicken
like
nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
I'm sure there's other pairings you could do, but like I know people have made like the Chick-fil-A pizza, but that just sounds
Goated. One of the
Just go
greatest
get Taco
pizzas.
Bell pizza.
Taco Bell pizza.
well, just get their Mexican pizza.
I just want the new passion fruit flavor. I just want to see how the Baja is.
Yeah. We gotta, when that comes out, we gotta do a what happened to our country review of that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up there. So,
Sounds
good times.